Well, it was a big weekend with the news that came out on Friday, late in Friday, that OpenAI Board had made a decision to fire its successful and popular and dynamic CEO, Sam Altman. Surely no other topic could be more appropriate for the AI Week in Review. Let's dig in, shall we? And you know, many of the headlines that came out do emphasize this idea of shock. The Washington Post writes, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman ousted, shocking AI world. BBC writes, Sam Altman, the extraordinary firing of an AI superstar. Slate writes, late Friday afternoon, the famed artificial intelligence company OpenAI made a shocking announcement. Effective immediately, its board of directors was firing CEO Sam Altman, both from his leadership position and from the OpenAI board. So this theme of shock and disbelief occurs in many of the statements that we see. BBC says the tech world is in shock. Washington Post says in conversations with more than a dozen AI industry executives and investors, all of them expressed confusion and surprise. Gartner writes, Altman's exit is indeed shocking. And Slate writes, it's a heck of a pre-weekend news dump from what is perhaps the best known and most influential AI company of the decade, if not the century. So let's take a look at that announcement that caused all of this shock and surprise. Here it is. OpenAI announces leadership transition. So here they start off by talking about who's going to go in there instead. It's going to be Mira, who's obviously already in a leadership position. And here's the key part. Mr. Altman's departure follows a deliberative review process by the board, which concluded that he was not consistently candid in his communications with the board, hindering its ability to exercise its responsibilities. The board no longer has confidence in his ability to continue leading OpenAI. Oh my goodness. And of course, we can take a look at Sam himself here on X. I loved my time at OpenAI. It was transformative. I'll have more to say about what's next later. He also adds, let's first say thank you to all the incredible people who worked with OpenAI, our customers, our investors. He's playing the perfect role on this. And there's a couple of other things that he says. Meanwhile, the industry is rallying behind him. Here's Eric Schmidt saying, Sam Altman is a hero of mine. He built the company from nothing to $90 billion in value and changed our collective world forever. I can't wait to see what he does next. But the pin really dropped here with Greg Brockman. So I'm super proud of what we've all built together since starting in my apartment 8 years ago. We've been through tough and great times together. But based on the news today, I quit. Genuinely wishing you all nothing but the best. So what the announcement had said was that Greg, although he's being removed from the board, would continue, is still an important person. And he will remain in his role. But he says, I quit. So this is the first pin to drop. And so now, what led to all of this? I think one of the things that comes out as the story opened up over the weekend was that it was definitely these two were blindsided. So here we are, all the four key members of this story. Here's Sam, here's Greg, who says, I quit. Here's Ilya, who is apparently the one behind all of this. And Mira, who will be taking over according to the announcement, but more to follow on that. So all of them blindsided. As recently as Thursday, Altman was acting the CEO part, speaking on stage, according to the Washington Post. Even Thursday evening, Altman appeared at an event in Oakland, giving no apparent knowledge that anything was about ready to happen, according to the New York Times. And indeed, the conclusion of the BBC technology editor is, it's safe to assume that he really had no idea of what was coming. Now, let's take a look at this board of directors that made this decision, shall we? So here they are. Of course, Greg Brockman quits. So he was removed from chairman as part of this announcement as well, but he also quit as president. And then you've got Sam Altman, who was CEO. Then the other four apparently were the ones that made the decision, and most certainly Ilya, the chief scientist. So Ilya, very talented person. And there's much we could say about Ilya. My goodness, what a genius that person is. So you get it why he's on the board. Adam D'Angelo, CEO of Quora. Okay, fine. But why? But anyway, it's okay. You got this person, Helen Toner, is a policy person from Washington. Okay. And then you've got Tasha McCauley, which is like, who's that? So actually searched for that. And I can see that I'm not the only one doing that search. You can see there in the upper right hand, Reddit, people are searching who is Tasha. Apparently, she's said to be an entrepreneur and the wife of Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Okay, this is one of the board members that maybe was involved in the decision to fire Sam Altman. So I did a question to ChatGPT. What is tech entrepreneur Tasha McCauley best known for? And ChatGPT says, well, he's best known for work as co-founder of a company, Fellow Robots. Fellow Robots? So I did a search for that. Fellow Robots. Okay. All right then. So you end up coming to the question, how did this board come together? Anyway, the next thing that we can talk about is a little bit of the drama behind this. So Mr. Altman was asked to join a video meeting with the board at noon on Friday and was immediately fired, according to Brockman. And then Brockman said that even though he was the chairman of the board, he was not part of that board meeting. What? And of course the question is, why was Brockman, by the way, removed from his position as board chair? There's no explanation whatsoever, or no clear explanation about that. So you get back to what's behind all of this, and Slate is saying, well, if this account of Friday's events holds true, which seems to be true, it would appear that Ilya Sutskever is the one who spearheaded their removal. And, you also see the statement from BBC that the wording of the official statement is so powerful, it almost sounds personal. So, what's the backstory here? Well, about a month ago, Sutskever's responsibilities at the company were reduced, according to Slate. And there was a alliance between Altman and Brockman. And, however, Sutskever was later appealed to the board and won some members over, including Helen Toner. Now, Helen is tied to the effective altruism movement, which considers super advanced AI to be a threat to humanity. And indeed, with the removal of Sam and apparently putting Mira in his place, you get people like this effective altruism philosopher saying that he's more cheerful about OpenAI with Mira in charge. In other words, let's put the brakes on all that stuff that OpenAI is doing too fast. And Ilya is just saying, hey, it's just the board doing its duty to its mission as a nonprofit. Now, by the way, the structure of OpenAI is quite complex. I could show you the diagram of that, but we don't need to go into that now. But let's just talk about profit for a moment. You and I we were taught by our parents when we were growing up that money doesn't grow on trees. So let's take a quick story of OpenAI. It was founded in 2015, and at that time, Elon Musk committed about $100 million to the company. Okay, excellent. By 2018, Musk was saying that OpenAI was falling behind Google, and he was trying to position himself to be the one to run the company. That didn't happen, and by 2019, he just quit OpenAI. No more investment money coming from Elon. Imagine that situation. They're burning through a lot of money with very expensive developers doing cutting-edge stuff. They're positioned as a nonprofit, and their one and only funder left. Now Sam Altman takes over. What to do? Who would it be that would be interested in some technology that would put Google on back foot? Microsoft might be. And who else would have enough money? So in a very important meeting, Sam Altman meets with Microsoft, and they make a decision to invest $1 billion in the company. Without that decision, OpenAI would have gone under. That's for sure. So that's what happened. Now, fast forward to 2023, and Microsoft investments in OpenAI climbed to $13 billion. They now have a 49% stake in OpenAI, and Microsoft stock jumped 54%. So now that's the profit story. Now, what are the implications if this were to push all the way through of these changes? Well, one of the things that we can see right away is that the developer community there's a lot of angst there. Here's a person named Nick Dobos who claims to be the person who built the #1 most used custom GPT currently on using the OpenAI technology. And he's saying things like, what's happening with revenue share? Is the public, what about the GPT store that was announced last week? What's going on? Say something. And then he's pointing a message at Mira. Why is there no message? So there's a lot of discontent and uncertainty, all of this developing over the weekend, right? And of course, there's this unconfirmed report. This is not in BBC or Bloomberg or anywhere, but you do see this out on the internet, this report that the board had agreed in principle to actually resign and allow Altman and Brockman to return. But then they waffled on that. They missed a key deadline, okay? So then you have, this is confirmed, breaking news that already 3 senior OpenAI researchers resigned as the crisis over at OpenAI deepens. There's the names, Jacob Pachoki, Alexander Madry, and so forth. And these are very key people, and they're leaving because they're dissatisfied with the Altman ouster. And of course, the logical question would be, what is going to happen with the funding? OpenAI was seeking $80 billion in additional funding. What's going to happen now? And the answer is, that would be a big problem now at this point. But there's another player involved in this which is very important, which we mentioned just a moment ago, and that is, of course, Microsoft. So then the question is, will the OpenAI shakeup derail Microsoft's artificial intelligence momentum? Yeah, that wouldn't be a good thing. And one of the things that is so surprising about this story is that apparently Microsoft was not in the loop. Washington Post reports a person familiar with the matter said Microsoft heard about the news just minutes before the blog post went out. Imagine, they're 49% owner of the company, invested $13 billion. So this is a big deal. I mean, here's somebody who posts a lot on X, in case you were wondering how much Sam Altman mattered to Microsoft, I'm going to go with a lot. But you don't have to listen to somebody like him. I mean, New York Times is saying Altman's removal is a blow to Microsoft, which had invested $13 billion. So that's the Microsoft side. Now, what's next for Sam? Well, there's a lot of late-breaking news in this story, but let's say it goes in the direction that it appeared to be going on Friday night. Sam's got options. First of all, we can say that he has broad support in the AI community. This is a quote from Eric Schmidt, which we saw just a moment ago. He's a hero of mine. And Altman has placed bets. Here are some of the bets that he's placed. Helion Energy uses fusion to get amazing amounts of energy from the hydrogen in seawater. Retro Biosciences is a company that has perhaps the ability to extend lifespan by 10 years, and WorldCoin, which is a combination of biometrics and crypto that scans people's eyes, their eyeballs, to identify who they are. So especially Helion Energy and Retro Biosciences, especially Helion, those are pretty interesting technologies. But wait, there's more! So just as I was getting ready to post this online, new articles were appearing, and you can see this, fired or not. So now is it in question? Is the board changing their mind? Maybe so. So here we see The Verge reporting within the last 24 hours, OpenAI board in discussions with Sam Altman to return as CEO. OpenAI optimistic can bring back CEO Sam Altman. Other key figures report. So this is a breaking story. Here we see more videos. OpenAI's new statement changes everything. Wait, Sam Altman and Greg Brockman coming back to OpenAI? So this story is definitely breaking as we speak. Finally, you have to publish the video, but stay tuned because certainly there's more coming for the rest of this story. Anyway, thanks for tuning in for the story up until now, and talk to you soon. Bye for now.